Hello, Module 5, Lesson 7. We are still making equivalent fractions. So today we are going to use the area model and multiplication to show the equivalence of two fractions. This lesson is just a little bit different because we're kind of working in reverse, okay? So they are going to give us the area model that's already decomposed. So imagine this down here below is not there, and they just gave us this area model. We have to look at that and say, okay, well, if I take that horizontal line away, if I ignore that for a second, I can see that there's 1/2. Here's my 1/2 is equal to, after they decomposed it into two more rows. So they're multiplying by 2, and that gave us 2/4. And this is looks slightly different than what we've been doing because it's good though, because I want you to understand that when we make equivalent fractions, whatever we do to the bottom, we multiplied by 2, we also need to do to the top, okay? So remember, when we're adding or when we're multiplying by a whole number, our denominator doesn't stay that or doesn't change. When we're making equivalent fractions, that's one of the times where our denominator will change, okay? Okay, so let's do this next one together. So look at this area model and ignore the horizontal lines for a second, okay? What do we see? I see 1 is shaded and it's broken into 2. So I have 1/2. So I'm going to represent what was there before they decomposed it. Okay, so 1/2 is equal to, and let's see, how many rows did they make? 1, 2, 3. So they multiplied their numerator and denominator by 3. And if we do that, then we should get 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, so let's see. We do this and we show what we're multiplying by on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take 1 and 2 and I multiply my top and bottom by 3. And if we do that math, does it match what it's showing? So 1 times 3 and 2 times 3. Does that give us 3, 6? It should, right? 1 times 3 gives us 3. 2 times 3 gives us 6. So 3, 6, and 1/2 are equivalent, okay? And we do this, the 1 times 3, 2 times 3, we draw it out like that. Because like I was saying, I want you to understand whenever we're making equivalent fractions, we multiply the denominator and the numerator by the same number. If you don't, it's not going to be equivalent, okay? All right, let's do another one. Okay, ignore the horizontal lines. What do we see? I see 1/2 again. Okay, so we're starting with 1/2. And how many rows did they make? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be multiplying by 4. Okay, so we're going to show that. Sorry, my lines aren't straight. I'm trying to go a little bit faster. But you get what we're trying to do. So I'm going to take 1 times 4 and 2 times 4, and that should give us the 4/8 that's represented after they decomposed. Okay, so 1 times 4 gives us 4. 2 times 4 gives us 8. So 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4/8. 1/2, 4/8. Doing okay? Doing okay. Especially if we know our basic multiplication facts. You probably won't even need to count the rows eventually. So let's do that with this one, okay? So first, ignore those horizontal lines. I've got 1/2 again. 1/2. So this one, let's figure out, what do they have now after they decomposed? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. I'm going to put that down here. 5 tenths. So you can think, well, what am I going to have to do to convert that 2 into 10? And that 1 into 5? What are we going to have to multiply by? 1 times 5 is going to give us 5. Is that going to be true for our denominator? If we took 2 times 5, 2 times 5, yes, also gives us 10. So you don't have to count the rows, right? If you can see, here's my 1/2. That's what we started with. As soon as we put those horizontal lines in, it made it into 5/10. So we can understand what we need to multiply by to make the new equivalent fraction. Okay, let's do another one. So it says decompose and express it in a number sentence using multiplication. So it's not telling us what we need to decompose it into. We can kind of choose how many horizontal lines we want to make. So we need to first see what are we starting with? We're starting with 1/4, okay? So we can kind of decide, well, how many horizontal lines do we want to put in? 2, 3? Let's do 2. I'm going to have to stretch them all out. So how many rows did that give us total? That gave us 1, 2, 3 rows. So we know that we're going to have to multiply by 3. Or if we look at it now, we have 3, 6, 9, 12. We have 3/12. So if we were to show that down here, then we can use our multiplication knowledge to say, okay, what do we need to make? We need to make 3/12. How do we do that with multiplication? Well, I know that 1 times 3 is going to give me 3. Is that true for our denominator? I take 4 times 3. Whoops. I didn't want that guy. Okay. So if we take 1 times 3, then that's going to give us that 3 for our new numerator. And then if we do that same thing to the denominator, 4 times 3, then that should also give us 12. Is 4 times 3 12? Yes, 4 times 3 is 12. Good. Okay, so 1/4 is equivalent to my slanted math there. 1 times 3 gave us that 3. 4 times 3 gave us 12. We're multiplying our numerator and our denominator by the same number, so then it's creating that equivalent fraction. Okay? Let's see what our next one is. So same thing. I think I'm going to save that one for you guys. So you have plenty to make, plenty of them to practice on. Okay? All right, so we are going to keep working on this, like I always say, in small groups, but also really make sure that if you guys are having hard times or questions, please, please, please come to my office hours. We can work through things. We can talk it out. We can do some one-on-one lessons. That's what those office hours are for, okay? Clicking and dragging can be a pain. Do it on paper. Send me a photo, okay? All right, you guys, great job today, and I will see you guys soon.